What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 141. Yep, episode 141. Moving on up there. Hopefully, everybody had a beautiful weekend. It is Monday, March 2nd, 2026, year of our Lord. And it's time for the greatest afternoon show in the world. You ain't got to believe it, but I believe it. That's all that matters. Now, you already know, just a little housekeeping first. Now, we will go over 4 different topics today. If you ever disagree with anything I say, please leave a comment, send me an email. Just make your points known. I'm never going to say I'm always right. I'm never going to say I know everything. So please reach out and let's have a discussion about this type of stuff. But this is a show where we go over 4 topics every single Monday through Friday, starting around 6 o'clock, where we go over 4 topics and 4 crazy things that just popped up on my page that I just needed to talk about and we needed to review together. But you know how I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. The first topic we get into today. But remember how Future say, let's have a sensational show today, y'all. But the first topic we got to get into is, of course, we got to talk about, some people calling it World War III. Some people calling it the Iran conflict. However you want to call it, we got to talk about that. We got to get over that. And the main thing I want to talk about is the casualties. How many people have died from this violence so far? So that is the first topic we're going to be getting into today, is the Iran conflict casualties. And it's up there. It's getting up there. We got a few videos to look at. And then, of course, we'll go over to the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information on what we want to find out. But let's jump over into it and see what we can find out. Let's jump into it, y'all.
This weekend, the killing of Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei at the hands of the U.S. and Israeli military. It is reverberating throughout the Middle East right now and beyond. In addition to the Ayatollah, some 40 other senior members of his regime are also dead. After announcing what the U.S. is calling Operation Epic Fury, President Trump said now is the time for the Iranian people to rise up and reclaim their country. But Iran's foreign minister says the Islamic Republic regime will not be defeated. Those words backed up today with retaliatory strikes from Iran targeting Israel and several other countries in the Gulf region hosting American military bases. This war with Iran is already proving to be deadly for the U.S. as well. This morning, Central Command reports 3 service members killed in action, with 5 others seriously wounded as part of Operation Epic Fury. Our senior national security correspondent, Charlie Daggett, just filed this report with the latest escalating hostilities from Tel Aviv.
Iran began 40 days of mourning for Ayatollah Ali Khamenei after state-run media confirmed that he was killed at his Tehran compound. His successor has been announced as Alireza Arafi to lead a temporary council, but who's really in charge and where they can even meet safely is another matter. Israel Defense Forces released this video today, claiming to show multiple airstrikes blowing up Iranian government headquarters this morning. CBS News cannot independently verify that claim. Intelligence sources tell CBS News as many as 40 senior Iranian officials were killed in the first wave of strikes. Iran's Islamic Republican Guard Corps vowed revenge, saying they've launched the most ferocious offensive operation in the history of the Iranian armed forces towards the occupied territories and American terrorist bases. On day 2 of the war, nearby Gulf state allies have already borne the brunt of multiple drone and missile strikes, though none as hard as Israel itself. An Iranian missile strike overnight in the heart of Tel Aviv left a woman in her 40s dead and more than 40 injured, including 7 children.
Throughout the night, air raid sirens and text messages sent residents here scrambling for their bomb shelters. This missile managed to get through one of the most advanced missile defense systems in the world, and that's what's causing concern among U.S. forces here.
U.S. military officials tell CBS News that forces from U.S. Central Command continue to launch airstrikes and cruise missiles against Iran, targeting Iranian air defenses, launchers and missile stockpiles, and Iranian regime infrastructure in coordination with Israeli defense forces.
Today, the U.S. Embassy here in Israel changed its advisory to American citizens here, saying the embassy is not in a position to evacuate or directly assist Americans in departing Israel, directing that all U.S. government employees and their family members shelter in place in or near their residences until further notice.
Now, this is a crazy situation, just seeing the explosions and seeing seeing war in general. They said little kids have been killed, and we're gonna get over into it. It seems like Iran, there was a school that was blown up as well, or it was hit. So we'll get over into that as well. But it's a crazy situation. Let's keep going.
In that 6-minute video, President Trump praised the 3 fallen service members as true American patriots, adding there will likely be more casualties. Meanwhile, Iran has been hitting back, continuing to fire missiles and drones into Israel, as well as at several of the Gulf states where the U.S. has military bases.
The one thing you can always, I guess, count on, or something that always accompanies war, is casualties. That's why that's why people fight so hard just to not have wars in general. But is that ever even going to be possible? I don't know. But let's keep going.
Americans woke up to the news that 3 military servicemen had been killed and another 5 injured as a result of ongoing operations in Iran. The time and place of their deaths remains unknown, however, as Iran continues to retaliate, bombing targets in Tel Aviv, Dubai, Qatar, and Bahrain, among others.
What the United States is doing is an act of aggression. What we are doing is the act of self-defense.
That was Iran's foreign minister speaking on ABC's This Week today. Abbas Araghchi insisting the process to elect a new leader in the wake of the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's death is ongoing, even as President Trump today, in a recorded message released on Truth Social, said this.
Many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity.
Adding that
combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved.
But what does that mean? Many in Congress continue to ask that question today. The administration still not briefing legislators.
This is not Venezuela. This is a very real threat. We've already had casualties in our troops, but this is a very capable enemy, not just the U.S. interests there, our allies, but threats to the homeland.
And even as celebrations over the killing of Khamenei continue to break out among Iranians living around the world, from Paris to New York to right here in Chicago, not all are of the same mindset.
So I was in prison for 2 years, 4 months in solitary confinement.
An adjunct professor at Loyola University, Ali Taroch, came to the United States as a refugee 13 years ago. He hates the regime, but is against going to war with Iran.
I'm seeking democracy. I'm not seeking rapid changes. Decapitating the head of the regime doesn't change the system. Any foreign intervention, any freedom operation won't bring democracy to our regime.
And ABC News is now reporting that both houses of Congress will receive classified briefings from the Trump administration officials on Tuesday. This as key members of both chambers are calling for a vote this week that would limit the president's authority to continue its military operations in Iran without congressional approval.
Now let's go over into this next one where it just talks about the rising death toll.
Well, the war with Iran is now expanding and the death toll is rising as well. The U.S. and Israel launching joint strikes that reportedly killed Iran's supreme leader and other senior officials. Iranian state media also reporting that more than 150 girls were killed at an elementary school. Maribel Gonzalez has the very latest as the president weighs in on the war.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime.
In his first remarks since strikes in Iran started Saturday, President Donald Trump said Iranian leaders ignored U.S. warnings not to rebuild its nuclear program.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat.
The president also told CNN Monday that the U.S. military is, quote, knocking the crap out of Iran, but the big wave is yet to come. At least 4 American service members have already been killed.
In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the U.S. strikes on Iran are not meant to be a regime change, but called on Iranians to, quote, to take advantage of the opportunity while explaining the president's mission.
Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes.
The war is sending shockwaves across the globe, disrupting air travel and hiking gas prices in the U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called on lawmakers to pass a war powers resolution in a vote expected later this week.
The American people want us to focus on making their life better, making their life more affordable, not getting involved in another endless war in the Middle East that is going to end in failure.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
So he's already counting on it for ending in failure. What is y'all thoughts, y'all? Do you think it will end in failure? But let's go over it. I want to hear more information about, because we don't want to just focus on the deaths, the casualties over on our side. We got to focus on the casualties at Iran, where it sounds like 100 children ended up being killed in a bombing. So let's get over into that.
The aggressors have also targeted a school in the city of Minab, Hormozgan province, killing more than 100 children. The number of innocent civilians continues to rise. This is not only an act of aggression, it is a war crime.
Crazy situation. Absolutely crazy. Let's go over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more for the actual numbers, or a summary of the numbers. Let's get over into it. So as we know, so as of March 2nd, the ongoing conflict involving the United States, Israel, and Iran has resulted in hundreds of confirmed deaths and thousands of injuries across several countries. This situation is rapidly evolving, with major combat operations titled Operation Epic Fury having launched on February 28, 2026. Reports for the Iranian Red Crescent Society and the international news agencies have stated the following totals. So we got Iran, so at least 555 people have been killed. This includes an approximately 180 children reportedly killed in a single strike on an elementary girls' school in Medab. Israel officials claim over 1,500 members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard coup has been killed, though this has not been independently verified. And then we got 6 service members have been killed on the United States side, our side. Initial reports on March 1st confirmed the deaths at the base. The toll rose to 6 today after remains were uncovered. And then Israel, we got 11 people have been killed. Casualties include 9 people killed in the ballistic missile strike on Beat. I'm not even going to try to say it. And then Lebanon, 31 people have killed, 149 people wounded following Israel's airstrike. And then we got different regions as well. 3 deaths in the United Arabic, 1 in Kuwait, Asian worker, Iraq, 2 in Iraq, firefighters and popular mobilization forces, and then 1 death reported in Oman. I might be saying the names wrong, I'm sorry, but this is a war. At the end of the day, this is a war, and casualties, it's sad to say, but casualties are expected. So we'll get over into the total. Let's see what the total number is. I could just add it up, but so as of right now, they're saying at least 619 people so far since it's launched its operation February 28th. Wow. Absolutely tragic situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. A war is a terrible thing, and that is why we need to vote for people who will get us out of wars. Vote for people who want us to stop wars. Now, I'm not going to say that war is not needed, because in order to protect people you care about, sometimes you have to go to war. But it should be the last option. But let's get over into it. But that is it for this section, y'all. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Tragic situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. We're going to pivot now into the next topic. We'll get into less about the U.S. government, but we're going to go over to the smaller city council. So we're going to go over to a city council where it seems like a sex offender, yes, I said it, a sex offender, is running for city council office. I don't know exactly what his charges are. We'll see if we can find out. But it's a crazy situation. I guess, the laws don't specifically prohibit him from running. But the question is, who will vote for him? Who will vote for him? Let's get over into that. We got a few videos to look at. And then we'll go over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information about this whole thing. But let's jump over into it and see what we can find out.
A registered sex offender has launched a Fresno City Council campaign to represent District 7, which includes Old Fig Garden, East Central Fresno, and parts of Southeast Fresno. He would join a crowded field vying for the seat when Councilman Nelson Esparza's term runs out. The controversial political hopeful spoke with Action News reporter Brisa Colon in his first television interview about the criminal past he's not hiding.
Well, I believe Fresno deserves leaders that are honest from the very beginning, not the end. So going into this, I am putting my life out there.
Up front about his status as a registered sex offender, Rene Campos is not running from his past as he runs for office.
I've been given the chance to rehabilitate through the courts and back into the system.
Charged with being in possession of child sex abuse material back in 2018, the Fresno native says he pled no contest to a misdemeanor charge. Now launching his campaign to represent District 7 on the Fresno City Council. He says his focus is on safety.
I think they skipped over that a little bit. So he was found with child sex abuse material back in 2018. He said he pled no contest, but so why did he have it? How old was the child in question? There's a lot of questions. Let's keep going.
So I say, let's choose somebody outside the box. Somebody who knows the system from inside out. Because I've experienced the laws that we are trying to reform right now.
Fresno County Clerk and Registrar of Voters James Coos says state law does not prevent a registered sex offender from running for office.
Once you leave prison, you're on probation, you actually are allowed in California to reapply and become a registered voter again, which would then make you eligible to be able to run as long as you are living in the proper jurisdiction.
Campos looks to enter a growing field of people vying for the seat. Another candidate says he shouldn't join the race.
I think it should be a disqualifier to serve in public office. If I'm the next council member in District 7 and I can't show up at a school site, how can I best represent the people in the neighborhoods I want to serve?
Hey, that's a good point to me. He can't even be around children. And this is the man who wants to run for a city council seat.
Candidate brings a different background and focus to the race. AJ Rossomny says homelessness is his priority.
I never thought I'm going to be in politics. However, I'm a business owner, I'm a community advocate, and I'm a problem solver.
Nav Gurm, endorsed by Mayor Jerry Dyer and the Firefighters Union, says he represents the next generation of leadership.
There's a lot of basic amenities our neighborhoods deserve and quite frankly need, and that's why I'm running.
Ariana Martinez-Lott, a mother, is calling for more investment in neighborhoods.
I don't have political aspirations. I am running to continue the work that we have been doing here locally as residents in our city.
Campos has not yet filed for the office. He and the other candidates have until the 6th to submit their paperwork. The primary election is the first Tuesday in June.
Question, do you think he should be allowed to run? He is a registered sex offender for who was convicted, or he pled no contest to having child sexual abuse material back in 2018. Let's go over to next video.
Hello, my name is Renee Campos. I'm a candidate for District 7. Today I've called this conference. Today it's not about one man. Today it's about the Constitution. The First Amendment does not belong to the comfortable. The Equal Protection Clause does not apply to only the popular. And the right to seek public office does not depend on whether these in power approve you. When government officials publicly discuss how to block a single candidate from appearing before voters, that's not policy debate. This is institutional overreach. The Constitution does not grant government the authority to pre-select who is worthy of the democracy. Voters decide, not councils, not rhetoric, not fear. If the standard becomes, we are uncomfortable, then rights become conditional. And unconditional rights are not rights at all. I have accepted responsibility for my past. I've completed every requirement of the court. I've imposed the law as spoken. The sentence was served. In America, rehabilitation is not a slogan. It is a legal principle. So the question is not whether I make people uncomfortable. The question is whether our institutions respect the rule of law when it is convenient and inconvenient. Democracy is the strongest when it trusts its voters. If we abandon that principle, we abandon the foundation of this republic. The election belongs to the people of District 7 and no one else.
Happened right now. He is 100% right. It's up to the people to decide on if he should be allowed to run or if he wins. But at the end of the day, like he said, it's people feel uncomfortable with him running in general because he is a registered sex offender. Now, you can do all the courses, you can do all that, you can, I guess, pay your debt to society in a sense. But at the end of the day, you're trying to get votes from the people. If the people feel uncomfortable with you, you won't get any votes. But let's do one more video and see if they... Oh, no. We're going to go over to the AI breakdown now. Let's go over to the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information about this whole thing. So as we know, so in February 2026, Raymond, I might have said his name wrong, a registered sex offender sparked significant controversy by launching a campaign for a seat at the Fresno City Council in California. Are we surprised it's California? No. Campos is running for District 7 seat, which includes neighborhoods like Old Fig Garden and parts of East Central and Southeast Fresno. So, under the California law, a person is generally not disqualified from running for office due to a sex offender registration, provided that they have regained their voting rights and meet residential requirements or residency requirements. So he was charged back in 2018 with the possession of child sex abuse material. He pled no contest to the misdemeanor charge. That's crazy. It's a misdemeanor, but I guess so. And served 27 days in prison following by probation and mandatory registration under Megan's Law. So he has adopted the slogan, "You are not your past," and claims his experiences with the legal system give him a unique insight into safety and legal reform. Now, of course, people can change. Yes, that's 100% right. People can change. But that doesn't mean your past should not be considered. Like, I would still think about somebody's past. You can have gone through all the change, but that's something you still need to consider. At least that's my thinking. You might feel differently. Now let's go over here to response. So the city council asked, so Fresno city leaders, including council president and council member, have expressed strong opposition. They are currently exploring an ordinance to bar registered sex offenders from the city buildings, which would effectively prevent him from attending council meetings if elected. Wow, that's crazy. So opponents' position. So rival candidates have argued that the status should be disqualification in practice, noting that the legal restrictions on sex offenders being barred from school grounds would prevent him from fulfilling key duties of the job, which is understandable. He has stated that he will not drop out and that he has threatened to seek legal options if the council attempts to block his eligibility. So they have a filing deadline of March 6, 2026 to submit their paperwork. So I did want to know, what did we get? So let's find more details on his charge. I would like to see more details on the charge if he has it. So he registered as a sex offender stems from a 2018 arrest for a possession and sharing. Sharing of child sexual material. So details from the 2018 case, the law enforcement was alerted by a cyber tip sent to the Central California Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. The tip reportedly suspicious online activity linked to an IP address at his home. Detectives with the sheriff office determined that Campco had been downloading and sharing obscene images depicting minors. Initial charges, he was facing felony counts of possession of child abuse, sex abuse material. In 2021, he reached a plea agreement to reduce the charges. He pleaded no contest to a single misdemeanor count of possession of child pornography. He served 28 days in jail with sentenced to 2 years of former probation, which he completed. As the result of his conviction, he is a lifetime registrant of the California Megan's Law website. Wow. So he was, remember his initial charges, y'all. So he determined that he was downloading and sharing obscene images depicting minors. Now it goes back to the thing. Do you think he should be allowed to run for city council? Should his past bar him from what he's trying to do now? Some food for thought, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that thinking. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. I don't think he will get elected. Myself, I would not vote for him simply because of his past. Now, you might think that's wrong. You might think that's right. But let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. At the end of the day, it's up to the people. It's up to the people if they want to put him in office or not. Crazy situation, y'all. Crazy situation. But we're going to pivot over into the third topic we're going to be discussing today. The third topic, and we got to go to Austin, where we had a mass shooting happen and several victims. So we'll get over into that and see what we can find out about this whole situation. Let's jump over into it. Of course, we'll look at these few videos and then we'll go over into the AI breakdown just to see if we can find out anything else.
Right at 2 a.m. again, if you had someone, a friend downtown and haven't heard from them yet, the number is 512. It's right there at the bottom of the screen. 512-974-5037 to find out more information. Again, if you haven't heard from somebody that might have been downtown, that's a good place to start this morning.
And I believe it was around 5 a.m. that there was a press conference and Mayor Kirk Watson was there. Lisa Davis, APD chief, was there as well. Let's kind of listen in to see what they were saying just a few hours ago.
First of all, thank you for being here this morning. There was, as everybody is now aware, a very significant incident on West 6th Street. We're going to have a briefing from the chiefs, as was just indicated to you. I want to say first, before I bring up Chief Davis, that I'm very thankful for the speed with which our public safety officials responded to this. I don't think there's any question that it saved lives. In fact, Chief Luckers will tell you about how quickly we were providing, his folks were providing help and aid to people, and that made a difference. But also our police officers who so rapidly responded and handled this situation. What we will do, and I'll mention this again a little bit later, but what we will do is get a briefing right now to get information to you. And then during the course of the day, as we continue this, we will, on a regular and routine basis, provide you additional information. So with that, I'm going to ask our police chief, Chief Davis, to come up.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start by saying my condolences to those that have been touched by this. This is a tragic, tragic incident. I want to start by saying how fortunate we were. If you imagine all of the resources that APD has on East 6th Street on the weekend, and fortunately those resources, after the bars were closing, were able to rapidly move here. Chief Luckritz will have more on that response, a co-response, but we were here rapidly due to that. This incident started with, again, that calls for a male shooting at Buford's Bar on West 6th Street. Officers immediately transitioned, came over East 6th to West 6th Street, and were faced with the individual with the gun, and 3 of our officers returned fire, killing the suspect. Again, as the mayor said, this is a situation that we are going to be talking about probably all day. And all of you have many questions, as do we. Our federal partners are here, as well as others, and this will be a scene that will take several hours to process. And so I ask for your patience, but again, we will get as much information as quickly as we can to you. At this point, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Chief Luckritz.
Good morning. Thank you, Chief Davis. Just to echo as well our condolences to everyone that was involved in this. From an EMS perspective, this was a very active scene. As many of you know, we have paramedics that are embedded in the entertainment district and with the Austin Police Department on the weekends. We received the call at 1:59 a.m. and within 57 seconds, the first paramedics and officers were on scene actively treating the patients. We had a total of 17 patients on the scene. 14 of those were transported to the hospital. 3 were pronounced dead on scene. Of the 14 patients that were transported to the hospital, 3 were in critical condition. As I said, our condolences go out to everyone that was involved, and we'll be back with more information in the future. I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you, Chief. As has been indicated, our hearts go out to the people that are victims of this, and I want to again reiterate.
What can drive someone to just indiscriminately shoot into a crowd? Now, some are saying terrorism. We'll get over into that video later, but there are some monsters in this world, y'all. There's some.
My thanks to our public safety officers and officials that so rapidly were on the scene. They definitely saved lives. And as I've indicated, what we will do is during the course of the day, we will inform you about when we will provide additional briefings. This is ongoing, and we will give you as much information as we can throughout the day. So please follow us, and we'll keep you up to date. But thank you all for being out here this morning. Thank you very much.
You were listening to a press conference from about 2.5 hours ago. That happened in downtown Austin at 5 a.m. this morning. We're also starting to see reaction from Texas lawmakers this morning. Austin Congressman Greg Casar posting on social media, quote, "I'm horrified and heartbroken by the mass shooting in downtown Austin. As we mourn those we've lost, let us also pray for those still in critical condition. I'm thankful to Austin's police, EMS, nurses, and doctors who saved lives." He goes on to say,
Now we're not going, well, let's finish up.
"We must end America's gun violence epidemic. Americans should be able to have fun at a bar without it turning into an unspeakable nightmare like this one. And I will redouble my efforts in Congress to prevent the next tragedy like this," end quote.
Now, it's a craziness. But let's get over into this next video where we hear about possibly a terrorism. Was it terrorism? Let's get over into it.
There are new concerns about any potential threats to the homeland after the U.S. attack on Iran. The FBI is now investigating this evening a horrific and deadly shooting in Austin, Texas. 2 killed, more than a dozen injured. what authorities say the suspect was wearing, and now federal authorities are investigating the motive amid heightened concern across the U.S. tonight. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, potential evidence that what's happening in Iran may have a direct impact right here at home. Early Sunday morning, the ominous sound of gunfire as a nightmare unfolds outside of an Austin, Texas nightclub.
Is anyone in here injured? No, we're good. Everyone's
A man in an SUV using a pistol to randomly fire at people outside the club just before 2 a.m. In seconds, the suspect seen here out on the street, now with a rifle, firing away. In the end, more than a dozen wounded. A witness capturing video of some victims being helped by emergency personnel. 3 of those victims transported to local hospitals in critical condition. 2 dying at the scene. A gunman shot dead by police, ending the vicious assault.
It just makes you be more so happy, or just more it just makes us feel better about our police and our EMS work. They said they got there in 54 seconds. Less than a minute they were there, ready to help people.
We have families that are at hospital rooms waiting for outcomes from surgery. That's the reality of what we're dealing with today.
The deadly rampage coming hours after the U.S. attack on Iran. The killing of its supreme leader became the biggest story in the world. And tonight, the FBI investigating whether the shooter might have been motivated by those headlines.
There were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism.
Law enforcement sources say this image obtained by Fox News is the suspect, dressed in a hooded sweatshirt bearing the words, "Property of Allah." Sources identifying the alleged gunman as Njaga Jannah, a 53-year-old naturalized citizen from Senegal. And sources telling ABC News initial reports to police say he was also wearing a T-shirt making reference to Iran. Authorities also investigating whether the man had mental health issues. While we don't yet know if Iran was the primary motivator in this attack, this kind of lone wolf mass shooting is precisely the kind of random violence that federal law enforcement fears the situation in Iran might evoke.
I think law enforcement authorities are concerned about attacks happening every day. And obviously yesterday, with the bombings taking place in Iran, the attacks could come even at a higher rate, but it's your schools, it's your churches, it's your airports.
But the fear of so-called lone wolves acting out because of Iran is hardly the only threat from that country that has law enforcement worried tonight. U.S. officials in recent years have identified a number of Iran-inspired plots, including an alleged plan to kill President Trump.
Tonight, the Justice Department is revealing a suspect with ties to Iran has been arrested, accused of plotting to assassinate government officials in the U.S. Sources tell ABC News Donald Trump was among the potential targets.
One of the suspects in that alleged plot, Asif Merchant, is on trial in Manhattan with a jury soon to decide his fate. Merchant, who is from Pakistan, has pleaded not guilty. Officials claim Iran has also targeted journalists and dissidents here who oppose the regime.
An alleged plot to kidnap an American citizen here in New York City.
The Justice Department says that Iran was behind the plot to kidnap Masih Alinejad, an Iranian-American journalist and author, allegedly even going to the point of tracking her travel and researching how to evacuate her from New York City in a speedboat.
Now, we're not going to get into the full video of this, but was this all done because we are at a war with Iran? Did someone really feel like that they needed to go out and shoot at random people outside of a car, outside of a club? Then you saw how that mentioned they mentioned mental health. Some people are just bad people. It's a crazy situation, y'all. We're not going to watch the rest of this video. We'll go over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more details about it. But let me know your thoughts on this, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. Let's get into it. So, as we know, a mass shooting occurred in downtown Austin on Sunday, March 1st, 2026. The attack left 3 people dead, including the gunman, and 14 others injured. The shooting began at approximately 1:58 a.m. outside of Bedford Backyard Beer Garden. The gunman initially fired a pistol from a black SUV while circling the block. He then parked the vehicle, exited, and continued firing with both a pistol and a rifle as he walked east. Officials stationed nearby for the weekend patrol engaged the shooter. Within 1 minute, 3 officers returned fire, killing the suspect at the scene. So we got the casualties. We got Ryder, 19, a former Texas Tech University student. Savita, 21, identified by police as the second victim. And then you got the gunman who died at the scene. 14 others were injured, with at least 3 remaining in critical condition as of Monday afternoon. So as of today. The shooter was identified as 53-year-old, I'm not even going to try to say his name again, Nadija, whatever you say, a resident and naturalized citizen of the United States from Senegal. The FBI investigated the attack as a potential act of terrorism. Law enforcement sources noted that he was wearing a sweatshirt that said "Property of Allah" and a shirt that had an Iranian flag on it. So investigators are looking into whether the shooting was motivated by the recent U.S. and Israel military strikes on Iran. A search of his residence uncovered an Iranian flag, pictures of Iranian leaders, and a Quran was found in his vehicle. He reported he has a history of mental health issues and domestic violence. Wow. They say that the EMS arrived in 57 seconds to transport the patients from the scene. University of Texas president confirmed that students were among the impacted. Reports and footage indicates that an anonymous vehicle may have blocked the first responders as they attempted to access the scene. Governor Abbott has directed the Texas Department of Public Safety to increase patrols in the 6th Street area during the weekends. It's possible, it's 100% possible, but the things that the U.S. is doing outside of the U.S. affects the people. Terrorists might be popping up. You never know. It's a tragic situation. I am happy that the suspect is gone, but we did lose 2 people, 2 innocent lives, just trying to have a good time downtown. It's a tragic situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think it was motivated by terrorism? You think mental health is the cause of this, or you think it's just the world how it is today? It's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We're going to pivot over into the last topic we're going to be discussing today. And it gets harder and harder to look at this kind of stuff, or because it feels like we're not moving forward. We got 3 teens, ages 12 to 15, all charged as adults. Now, did they really do it? We'll get into the videos to see what the evidence is. We got the father saying that all these charges are bogus. We'll see what's happened, what the charges are, but it sounds like they did something to a little girl. Let's go over into it and see what we can find out about this situation. We got a few videos to look at. And then, of course, we'll go over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information. But let's jump into it and see what we can find out.
Turning now to a disturbing safety alert. A 12-year-old girl allegedly raped by 3 teenagers who are all being charged as adults. Local 10's Magda Luisa is live in Miami with distressing details. Magda.
12?
Janice, you know, this alleged crime happened in June, but it wasn't until this week a grand jury said these minors need to be charged as adults. This is why we are showing you their faces. Now, the details in this alleged crime are very disturbing. We want to warn you. 2 middle school age boys and a 15-year-old boy are facing serious charges as adults in connection to a rape case involving a 12-year-old girl.
So you're 12 years old? You're 13 years old?
Police say the co-defendants, Nelson Nunez, Josiah Jones, and Xavier Tyson, all played a part in the crime that took place in an Overtown community garden in June.
You were indicted by a grand jury and transferred to from juvenile court to adult court. That's why you are here.
Police reports say the victim was leaving her friend's house when 13-year-old Nelson Nunez grabbed her, forced her on a couch inside the Greenhaven Community Garden, and raped her, while 12-year-old Josiah Jones and Xavier Tyson, who was 14 at the time, restrained her. Police say Jones put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming. The victim says it went on for about 30 minutes, and the boys stopped when they heard her father calling her name. We've learned from the founders of the Community Garden Greenhaven Project, telling Local 10 the situation has been very saddening. They say the garden is closed off to the public outside of normal operating hours, and on that day, a construction company cut the side gate, which allowed for anyone to enter the garden. The organization said it extended support to the victim, adding, "We will always be here to support in the best way possible, and that our extension of love and resources will always be available to the victim and her family, which we very much cared for." Both the 12 and 13-year-old are at the West Detention Center, both of them being held there without bond. As far as Xavier Taylor, the 15-year-old, we have not seen that he has seen a judge just yet, but when he does, we'll update you on what happens there. And we have also reached out to everyone involved in this case, their representatives, and that includes the victim in this case, and we have not heard back from anyone just yet. We're live.
Crazy situation. This is a crazy situation. They said that one of them pulled her into a garden. The other two held her down. One person put rocks in her mouth so she wouldn't scream, and they ran away when they heard the father coming. Let's go over into these next videos.
At 11 for months, a little girl lived with the horror of rape at the hands of 3 young boys.
Tonight in a one and only exclusive, the child's mother emotional in her demand for justice. Local 10's Byron Tollefson is live in Miami with this heartbreaking story, and nobody can even imagine their child going through this. Byron.
Oh, it's just awful, and we do want to warn you viewers before this story begins that this story is very disturbing.
I don't care if they get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years. Guess what? I'm going to always feel like, as a mother, as a woman, I'm going to always feel like it's not enough.
A mother asking for justice for her young 12-year-old daughter after police say a group of boys took her into a community garden in Miami's Overtown neighborhood, and one of them raped her for 30 minutes.
At the end of the day, they did it.
The 12-year-old girl telling police she was leaving her friend's house and saw the boys in a parking lot. Police say that 13-year-old Nelson Nunez grabbed her and forced her onto a couch in the Greenhaven Community Garden. Then, investigators say 12-year-old Josiah Jones put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming, while Nunez raped her, only stopping when they heard her father calling out her name.
Because I must say, I'm angry.
Police say a third boy, Xavier Tyson, now 15, was also involved. All 3 boys are now charged criminally as adults.
So you're 12 years old? You're 13 years old?
The girl's mom,
if they did it 100%, they need to be charged as adults. As simple as that.
thankful to a witness who came forward and just trying to be there for her daughter.
We're just taking it one day at a time. That's the best answer I can give you. We're taking it one day at a time.
Prosecutors say that all 3 boys are facing a false imprisonment charge, while Nunez and Jones are facing sexual battery charges. We're live in Miami.
Wow. Now let's get over into one more video where it looks like the father of one of the boys is saying that all these charges are bogus.
The court was brief today, but afterwards emotions were running high with one of the families of the boys being charged as an adult.
It's not true.
That's the mother of 12-year-old Josiah Jones screaming at anyone who would listen after today's court hearing as her son faces charges as an adult in a case involving the rape of a 12-year-old girl.
I don't care if they get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years. Guess what? I'm going to always feel like, as a mother, as a woman, I'm going to always feel like it's not enough.
The girl's mother speaking to Local 10 recently saying she just wants justice for her daughter. According to police, the girl was leaving a friend's home when she encountered the boys near a community garden in Overtown. Investigators allege 13-year-old Nelson Nunez raped her, while 12-year-old Josiah Jones and Xavier Tyson, who was 14 at the time, restrained her. Police say Jones put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming. All 3 boys are being charged as adults. The victim says it went on for about 30 minutes, and the boys stopped when they heard her father calling her name. In court today, attorneys for 2 of the 3 boys arrested in this case formally entered not guilty pleas, requested jury trials, and invoked discovery requiring prosecutors to turn over all evidence. They also argued their clients, Jones and Nunez, should not be in adult jail.
At this point, you have a 13-year-old kid sitting in jail, and me and I think my co-counsel, the lawyer for the co-defendant, we both will be fighting hard to get our clients out of jail.
As for Jones's father, he tells us the allegations against his son are not true.
A young black man that was visiting Miami, it was with the wrong 2 kids, a 15 and a 14-year-old. My son is 12 years old and has a father that takes care of him. These allegations are bogus.
So, is it possible that he was influenced around these kids? Yes, it's 100% possible. But it just goes to show you have to choose your friends very carefully. You have to choose your friends very carefully.
The judge did schedule a status hearing for March 18th. We'll continue to stay on top of this case and update you with any new developments. For now, reporting live.
It's a crazy situation, a tragic situation. Now, like I said, if they truly did it, then yes, they need to be in jail for a long time, a very long time, and charged as adults. Let's go over to the AI breakdown just to see if they give us any more information that we're missing. So as we know, So as we know, in early 2026, 3 juveniles in Miami were indicted by a grand jury and charged as adults in connection with a serious assault on a 12-year-old. So the incident occurred in June 2025 at a community garden following an investigation by Miami police. 3 suspects, ages 12, 13, and 15, were initially taken into juvenile custody. Due to the severity of the allegations, prosecutors sought to transfer the cases to adult court. On February 25th, 2026, a grand jury returned indictments officially charging the minors as adults. The suspects face various felony charges, which include sexual battery, kidnapping, and false imprisonment. During the court appearance in March 2026, legal representatives for the younger defendant entered a plea of not guilty. The individuals are being held without bond while they are charged as adults. They are typically housed in specialized units for juveniles within the detention center. Florida law allows prosecutors to directly file or seek grand jury indictments to try minors as adults for certain violent felonies, which is understandable. So I did want to have more details about it. So we got Jariah Jones, 12, Newsom, 13, and then Xavier, 15, were indicted as adults by the Miami-Dade for violent assault on a 12-year-old. The attack occurred in June 18, 2025. Nunez, so that is the 13-year-old, allegedly dragged the victim to the couch where he assaulted her while Tyson and Jones held her down. Jones is accused of placing rocks in her mouth. So that's the 12-year-old. The incident lasted 30 minutes before when they ran away when they heard the father. Following their arrest in June 2025, the trio was indicted as adults on February 25th. Now, at the end of the day, even if the younger boy, the father was saying that he was hanging out with 2 bad kids, even if he didn't truly do anything wrong, I wouldn't think, if you held the victim down, that's that ones of hands, ones of, you let this happen, you basically did it yourself, and you need to be charged as the same. At least that's my thinking. Now, this is a tragic situation. We got to pray for the victim, but we also need to see what evidence come out. Because is there a possibility that something happened that we don't know? Yes, there's a possibility. We got to wait for more evidence to come out. But if they did it, they need to go down for it. It's a terrible situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Look after your kids at the end of the day and teach your kids not to just follow the crowd. Absolutely tragic, y'all. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But that is it, y'all, for the show today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching now. Thank you for watching later. We always talk about some heavy things, some heavy topics that we need to discuss and review together. Now, if you ever found anything that you disagree with what I said, please leave a comment. Let's have a discussion about it. I'm never going to say I'm always right. I'm never going to say I know everything. I could have misunderstood the video. So let's talk about it. Now, remember, these videos will be broken down, so you can go and rewatch the ones you want. But y'all, remember, the best way to show support is all you got to do is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos. But that's it for now, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow at 6 o'clock. You already know I got to play that outro. Peace.